Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. We have a new RTA season and I have started to climb. So before we get into these RTA games, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, please see the video description below for a link to my Discord. Alrighty, so the meta has shifted, I think, pretty significantly now that Huayang is no longer, really a viable hero to pick. We also have a unit like Airwell that's an incredibly powerful tank, and Zeo looming on the horizon, so gone are the days of easy aggro drafts. Things were kind of transitioning in this direction for a little while anyways. However, I think, it's going to get even more in that direction once Zeo comes out. So, another change that's happened is we no longer have the Soul Weaver speed with Frenzy, we now have mages, which is helpful for mages, but I think Soul Weaver's enabled more aggro drafts than the mages do, interestingly enough. Anyway, so I'm still going to keep pre-banning Bellion and AOL for now. That may change once Zeo comes out, we'll have to see. I really don't like playing against AOL, she's pretty obnoxious, and I like being able to take Spectre Tenebria early, so I like banning out that Bellion, even if I'm not playing aggressively. It also gives me the option to play that way if the opponent is, making themselves open to that type of draft. So you can see here, I've first picked Arrowell. I think it's a pretty safe first pick in the meta right now, and the opponent responds with DJB and Adventurer Ross. DJB, is very effective against shields, right? And so Arrowell will give all gold unit shields, so a lot of people are picking DJB into Arrowell. When that happens, you can kind of flex into like Destina, Spectre Tenebria, things that are not gold, so they're not going to get that shield, and kind of prevent DJB from doing too much damage to you in the opener. Landy is also kind of coming back. She's a little bit of an early pickup right now, mostly just because she's Guiding Light and punishes, lots of buffs. So we're seeing that here. And then Roy is an interesting pickup. He does have Adventurer Ross to enable the dual attacks, so that's cool. I think Roy's pretty sweet. He gives some reach for the Spectre Tenebria, so I like that pick. We have two picks here, so we have to kind of decide how we want to respond to this. I think Fire Charlotte is not bad. She gives us reach for the Landy, and she can do chip damage onto Roy. And who else do I want? I think I need another AoE unit so I don't have to ban the Landy. I was debating about Mellum, but my Mellum is a little squishy. She's on an aggressive build. I think if I keep doing these slower drafts, I'll probably want to transition my Mellum over to a Bruiser variant. So I think just taking an AoE unit here like Sage Vivian is good. She is gold, so DJB will get to chip the barrier on her, which is unfortunate, but with Airwell mitigation, I think she should live. Sage Vivian is pretty strong right now. With these Airwell drafts. If they don't have DJB, like that extra barrier really, helps her survivability in the beginning of the game. So here, it's just a matter of surviving the opening momentum that DJB is going to give the enemy team. So he is going to skill 3. I guess he opts not to use the skill 2. Maybe he's going to wait and use it for Airwell's skill 3, which puts a barrier on the team. So Roy will open up here on Destina. One of the reasons why Destina is so popular right now is because Airwell is so tanky, it lets you survive a lot. And you combine that with Destina and the Revive, and you can tank so many, opening bursts of damage like this, right? And even if they kill one of your DPS heroes, Destina just brings them back. And they've kind of run out of gas at that point. Combined with a lot of the strengths Airwell brings, like a stun, the huge mitigation, the shields, it just makes it very hard to be aggressive into these two. And Vivian also actually heals a bit, which is nice. So here we have to decide, do we want to strip and stun the Landy, or do we want to do it on Roy? I'm just going to go for the Landy here. I think maybe I should have gone on the Roy and then just Soulburned into the Landy. I didn't want to be greedy. I wanted to do everything I could to make sure I got one target down, because I think I can out-sustain Roy. But we have a lot of buffs right now, so that's a lot of damage. Landy left unchecked is pretty unhealable. And I guess we'll just boost up Vivian here, for the CR.
You want to try me?
And we can Soulburn into the Landy. Crit damage buff from Vivian is nice. I think we might have been able to kill with skill 3 there in the crit damage buff. I haven't played with my Lifesteal Spectre for a little while, so I'm kind of... I don't have that intuitive sense for how much damage she does. So here's the annoying skill 2 from DJB, putting blind on my heroes. So I think, again, we just have to kind of outlast this. Roy puts some damage onto Airwell. Guardian Ice Crystal doing a lot of work. This artifact is really OP. This is an interesting Roy build. Or kind of Roy team, I should say. Alright, that's a lot of damage into Vivian. And here comes the skill 3 from Roy. And you can see how much work that Escort does on Airwell, right? How much damage she's already taken. And I think this is why it's really important to build Airwell with at least like 27, 28k HP. You can see if she was on like a 25 or 6k build, she would just be dead here. Alright, Vivian is down, that's okay. We have skill 3 from Destina.
Not bad.
So another alternative to Destina would be Maid Chloe. Depending on how you have your gear set up, it may work in your favor to use Maid. I think that Maid obviously makes you more vulnerable to Landy, right? Because of all the buffs, so that's something to consider. Also, I think Destina has a lot more sustain than Maid does, at least for her opening cycle, right? The skill 2 into 3 into 2, it heals a lot. You have a little more control with Destina as to when the units revive. Here you can see getting value from Airwell, skill 1, stripping buffs. It actually honestly kind of makes her like a hand guy in a way, and it shuts down a lot of bruisers, being able to strip those buffs with Airwell. And this is part of what makes it such a strong first pick. They can't just take units and assume that they're going to be safe behind immunity, because Airwell can always, get rid of those buffs. And we have skill 3 from Vivian for the win here, I think. This is such a beautiful skill 3 animation. Boom. Alright, that's game. Alrighty, so this person has pre-banned out Lua and Conquer Lilius. So I think right now in the meta it's very important to be able to play standard, because a lot of people are banning out the openers like this. Makes it hard to, do other types of drafts. So you need to be able to, play tanks, bruisers, etc. If the pre-bans kind of put you in a position where that's the optimal strategy. He takes DJB again, kind of predictably. It was interesting when the Soul Weaver speed was taken away in Frenzy. A lot of people speculated that they would all fall out of the meta, DJB included, and he's stuck around. And I think Airwell is part of the reason for that. She, the fact that she gives barriers to everyone, has made him still a very strong choice. People are picking Aiden a lot as well with Airwell, and she's usually not super high hit points, the Aiden that is. So if you're able to use that barrier inversion on her, it chips her down significantly, which is really nice. Also, just being able to CR boost your team such a huge amount and basically having your entire team go before the enemy does, you can often just kill a unit off. And so this is the type of thing that pushes units like Destina into, the meta slot. So kind of an interesting dynamic going back and forth. I guess I'm doing my same opener here as I did last game. But yeah, so far these types of drafts are really bringing me back to several seasons ago, where it felt like you would just take a knight, kind of react to what the opponent does. Now, if Lua is open, I think Lua is a great first pick. So we'll see some of those drafts in a bit. She is incredibly flexible. She can flex into standard. She can flex into, aggro, cleave, or whatever. She's a very oppressive unit. But you have to have the speed gear to be able to play her, I think. Okay, so this person takes Landy again, and now it looks like they're considering Operator Sigrid. Or Sage Vivian. Looks like they take the Sage. So they have 2 AoE units for Stenny here. So we take Charlotte, I think, to be able to reach the Landy again. But now we need a unit that can answer Sage Vivian. So you can answer Sage Vivian a few ways. You know, units that attack multiple times can be effective because they deplete her focus bar. Solitaria is often a really good choice because it prevents her from gaining focus, which is kind of funny. So she just never gets her passive damage reduction. You know, and if she doesn't have that, she is essentially just, you know, gets one shot. So I think Solitaria is actually the pick here. I think I screw up and I pick something else though. But I think Solitaria is good. We have 2 solid, you know, damage carries. I think it's going to be hard for him to nuke down either one of our damage units if he bans one of the others, because we'll have Airwall and Destina. I take Zahhak. He's another way to deal with the Sage Vivian, because if you have the resource reduction EE on him, when you S3, it just takes away your focus, and then he one-shots her. I think it was actually a mistake for me to take the Zahhak here, because he has DJB, and my Zahhak is not fast. He actually takes the Solitaria. I should have just taken the Soli. Would have outsped the DJB almost certainly with the Solitaria. Could have even tried to stun the DJB or something. Push back. You know, could have gotten a lot of momentum on my side, basically. Yeah, the Zahhak I think is just too slow. Because I still haven't built on that old build for the previous season, you know, to deal with Lionheart. So I think for this to work, he needs to be faster. However, you know, usually the faster Zahhaks run the attack exclusive equipment, the one that gives, you know, the attack buff to the hero you know, S2 with, and I guess that would not make him a Sage Vivian counter anymore. So you'd have to build him specifically for Sage Vivian if you want to, you know, use him in that way. So here you can see he's going to DGB boost. This time we don't have Destina because he banned it out. Zahhak is just too slow. He's going to soul burn with Landy. That's not great for us.
I'm at the scene. Full frontal assault.
And this is a full stack Landy. Ouch. So Zahhak is dead. And it looks like Spectre is also probably dead. So this was my mistake. I think, let's see, if we had Solitaria here, we could have counteracted the DJB boost on one of the DPS heroes, and we could have, you know, cycled around that way. That would have been fine. Yeah, basically just a bad last pick there on my part. We can try to pull this out with Charlotte, but now that she doesn't have immunity, I think she just gets controlled. Let's see, we can Airwell someone, I suppose. He's used his cleanse. Will that do enough? I guess if we Airwell anyone, it would probably be Vivian? Vivian or Aras. Probably Vivian.
The weight of the oath I've taken will be brought down upon you.
But resist, so that's unlucky. My Airwell has 100 effectiveness, so some people are building Vivian with ER, but I doubt they're building her with more than like 100. You just don't have the stats, I think, to go higher.
Is this really necessary?
I guess Fire Charlotte's also interesting in the Vivian because she's always AoE, right? So that kind of gets around the passive. Barrier inversion, which hurts. It hurts a lot, actually, but look at how much damage that did. Dual attack is unfortunate. I think at this point I'm just roping him. I should probably just leave. We miss on essentially everyone. Oh no, I guess it doesn't get around her passive. No, I guess it's just damage. For some reason I thought it was single target only.
I'll protect you. This won't be an easy fight.
This is your last chance to back down. Kneel before me and pay your respects.
I wanted to see if this skill 3 would heal up a lot. I figured, oh, if it heals like nearly to full, then maybe I have a chance. But it really didn't heal that much, so I think that's pretty much it. And then he's stunned, so that's definitely game. Alrighty, so we're playing a game against Melunia. He has first pick, he takes Arrowell, but he's left Lua up, so we can take Lua. And we'll just take Spectre along with that. It's kind of the 1-2 combo.
I'm bored.
It's really nice having a book unit when you draft the Lua because it lets you soul burn right and just ignore ER. So this week didn't really have a super cohesive video idea. I think I'll probably do an Aiden video this weekend, just because she's kind of one of the newer heroes. It's fun to see her pop off.
What a hassle.
Okay, so he's taking Leica. I think that means he's speed contesting me. One of, I think, the only reliable ways to beat Lua. So what does he take with Leica? Okay, he takes Rimuru. That's interesting. I feel like Rimuru is not super great into Lua just because he gets reset. So things that are good against Rimuru, I guess you could take Solitaria. That's somebody who could stun him and prevent the Analyze. We could take Apocalypse Ravi. That's somebody that can res in the event that Rimuru kills someone. Immunity is nice just because it prevents the defense break. But we already have kind of, a soft counter with Lua on the board. And Rimuru can't reach Spectre either. It looks like he is speed contesting me. I think I want DJB. I haven't played into Leica a lot, to be honest. I guess I'll take Apoc just to be able to revive if he kills something with Rimuru, and then we'll take DJB. DJB seems fine here because Leica can sleep on her skill 3. So if that happens, DJB just cleanses and pushes everybody up, and it's like it never happened. So it kind of denies the Leica skill 3. So let's see what he does with this. I wasn't super confident with these two picks. One concern whenever you take Apoc and Spectre together, those two are weak against Sylvan Sage when they're together. But I think we have enough coverage for that. Lua can reset Sylvan Sage, which means she doesn't get the crit damage buff. She doesn't, get the focus stacks from that. And the barrier from Airwall means that DGB can invert the barrier and, kind of threaten her that way.
I'll take down anyone.
He takes Ran. That's interesting. So 2 probably speedy units over here, and then green Celine. How bizarre. I was not expecting this draft. So we kind of have to look at our options here. Let's see. If he bans Lua, he's going to take the first turn. And I prefer not to just ban Ran. Because if I can ban Rimuru, then his only DPS units are Ran and Celine. Yeah, I think we just take an anti-Ran unit here, and then we'll just ban out Rimuru. He can't reach Spectre. Yeah, and he just bans Ed, but that's fine. So if he ran skill 3s here, then we have DGB to cleanse it, which could activate Celine, and that would kill Steny. But that's fine because we have Apoc to bring her back. And then he can't reach Steny again after that.
Show me what you can do.
Seems fine to me. He outspeeds with the Ran. That's a little awkward, but I think it's actually okay because our Lua cuts in between here. So Lua can skill 2 to get rid of the skill null and then skill 3 to reset everyone.
Whether you win or lose, it's determined in an instant.
Okay.
Sometimes even I'm amazed by my own talent.
I guess alternatively we could have banned the Celine and then just had the Rimuru to deal with. Maybe that was the play, and then he just couldn't reach Spectre ever. Unless his Leica's damage or something. That would be funny. Alright, so we'll skill 3 here with DJB, and this will kill the Spectre, which is okay, because we can reset here with Lua, and then we'll just use APOC to bring back Spectre.
Out of my sight. You have no value to me.
We definitely want to Soulburn this because we want to reset the Celine. She's going to cut, I think, our APOC.
Accept your fate.
Yeah, so I guess his plan here was to use the Ran into a Leica, but we cut in between. Alright, no kill. That's game. I'll see you guys next time.
Not for